The 100 best college football games of 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. I believe this article has actually ranked the top 100 games. It says the 2022 college football season is not that far away. We're much closer today to kickoff, 96 days, than we are to the day Georgia won the national championship in January, 132 days. Well, isn't that just sweet? But guys, I actually think they have ranked a total of 100 games, and I'll just react to some of these ones on the list. So at number one, they've got Texas A&M at Alabama. You know, this one with Jimbo versus Saban, it's going to be top five, but I would not have it at number one. I think people are really overrating Texas A&M for 2022 due to their crazy recruiting class, and they did sign the greatest recruiting class of all time. The big issue is all of these kids are going to be true freshmen. And normally in college football, true freshmen don't have the biggest of impact when it comes to the actual games. Of course, there's outliers like Derek Stingley Jr. was the best cornerback in college football as a true freshman, but normally many of these kids are still developing, and that switch from high school to college, it takes some time. So many of these five stars that Texas A&M signed in 2022 are not gonna be at their full potential until at least 2023 or 2024. So while Texas A&M definitely is on the up and up with their NLI, this year, I think Alabama and Nick Saban are going to trounce them at home. I mean, this is such a good setup for Bama. You're facing a really young team, likely new quarterback. You've got a Heisman-winning quarterback. You've got Will Anderson, the best defensive player in college football. This should be a 21-point victory for Alabama. Let's be real, folks. Come on. They've got that at number one. Number two, Alabama at Texas. Yeah, I would not say this is a top 2 game or a top 5 game, honestly. I think it's top 10. It's unique. It's good we get to see Alabama actually play a non-conference game on the road instead of all their non-conference games, normally being neutral site. They're actually going to Austin to face Texas. The start time of this game is really interesting. It's on Fox, so will they throw it on Big Noon or will it get pushed back to maybe 3:30? That'll be interesting, but Bama should win this fairly easily. This is going to be Quinn Ewers' second career start as a sophomore. They have a lot of talent, Texas does, with Xavier Worthy and Bijan Robinson, but I do not think this is Texas's most important game of 2022. I think the Red River rivalry is their most important game personally. This is a game Alabama should win fairly easily. I would not have this as one of my top games. Number 3, USC at Utah. Very interesting. The Pac-12 getting some love here. Should be Utah, they won the Pac-12 last year. They crushed Oregon in the Pac-12 championship game. They almost beat Ohio State. They've got their starting quarterback returning, Cam Rising, and they also have a really good defensive back, Clark Phillips III, who I think could be a first-round pick in the 2023 draft. And then USC, what they've done in the transfer portal, Jordan Addison, the tampering, Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley completely remaking their roster through the transfer portal. They've gotten like 15 players through the portal. It's been crazy. And USC, it's like, have they completely already rebuilt their team? Day and age of transfer portal, immediate eligibility. It'll be a very unique situation with what's happening at USC. And the fact that this game is in Utah, I hope this is a 7:30 game on ABC, 7:30 Eastern. If this is 10:30 Eastern, that would be terrible for the Pac-12. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, mid-October. Beautiful. You need this game on earlier, not a 10 o'clock start. The Pac-12 needs as many views as they can get, and that'll be these two teams could be undefeated. They really could be undefeated. I don't know who USC faces non-conference. I know they face Notre Dame non-conference, but that's the last game of the season. And number 4, Michigan at Ohio State. So I view this game very similarly to the Texas A&M Alabama game, where you've got Ohio State, the better team. They've got the superstar quarterback who's returning for another year. The great roster. Same thing with Alabama. You're at home. You're looking for revenge. I think the Buckeyes throttle Michigan. Michigan, they're probably going to be breaking in J.J. McCarthy this coming year. They do have a very easy non-conference. That should help them break in J.J. McCarthy if they want to make him the starting quarterback. But I think Michigan's going to lose 2 or 3 games in the Big Ten at least. Their defense is in a rebuild stage, losing Ajabo, Hutchinson, Daxton Hill. So this is a game, Ohio State. There is zero chance I see Ryan Day losing to Michigan back-to-back years, especially at home, especially with a Heisman contending quarterback in his second year. Very, very, very shocked if Ohio State loses to Michigan again. Number 5, it is the Red River rivalry, Texas and Oklahoma. Again, this is a huge, huge game for Texas. Texas needs this game. You've got Oklahoma in a little bit of a vulnerable spot with a first-year head coach, with a transfer portal quarterback who's coming off a major injury in Dillon Gabriel. Now, Dillon Gabriel is a really good player, but again, he's coming off that injury. Texas needs to win this game. They need it for national perception. They need it just in general. Quinn Ewers, Xavier Worthy, Bijan Robinson. This game is bigger for Texas than the Alabama game. They got to get it done. I was waiting to see where this game was going to be. They've got it at number 6. Guys, this would be my number 1 overall game for 2022. And it's week 1, 7:30, ABC, Notre Dame at Ohio State. CJ Stroud, Heisman moment. Very possible here for the Buckeyes quarterback. I saw the early spread on this game is Ohio State minus 14. The over-under's at 58. I love the over, and I love Ohio State to cover the 14 points. It'll be interesting to see how Notre Dame responds if they lose week 1. This is such a tough matchup for them going to Columbus, facing that offense, and you've also gotten a new and improved defense under Jim Knowles. So tough spot for Notre Dame. And this should be maybe like a top 6 or a top 7 matchup, depending on where Notre Dame is ranked in the AP poll, preseason poll. Ohio State, I expect is going to be ranked 2nd behind Alabama. Notre Dame will probably be ranked 5th, maybe 6th or 7th, somewhere in there. So I think that's like the game of the year, honestly. But Ohio State should win it. Oregon versus Georgia, no, this is a complete dud. And Georgia keeps doing these things where they have these neutral site games in Atlanta, freaking Georgia. You can't, if you're Georgia, you're not having a neutral site game in Atlanta. They keep doing it. And Oregon, I guess it's intriguing with Bo Nix, the transfer from Auburn. But I looked at the early line. I believe Georgia is minus 16.5. Like, Bo Nix against Stetson Bennett. No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. No, thank you. No. Top 10 game? No way. No way. Number 8, it's Bedlam, Oklahoma State at Oklahoma. So one of my big takes that I have of the 2022 season for my predictions, I think Oklahoma State is really overrated. They lose Jim Knowles. I see them last year a little bit fluky. I think they go 7-5 in 2022 in an underrated Big 12, personally. So this game I would not have in my top 10. NC State at Clemson, sneaky good game. NC State's going to be very good. They return most of their team. I think NC State actually beat Clemson at home last year. Now they're on the road. Sneaky good game. Sneaky good. I like it. I like that being a top 10 game. And then Utah at Oregon. Now, I don't know what this person's obsession with Oregon is. This is a decent game in the Pac-12, I guess. Top 10 in all of college football. Where's the Utah at Florida game? Week 1 non-conference. That should be in the top 10. So no. And then they've got 90 other games. Have they actually ranked 90 other games? I'm not going to go through everyone, but Clemson at Notre Dame, that's late in the season. DJ Uiagalelei goes back to South Bend, where he made his first career start. That should be fun. Alabama at Ole Miss, that should be really good with Ole Miss reloading in the transfer portal. Jackson Dart, the transfer from USC. Zach Evans, the 5-star running back transfer from TCU. Lane Kiffin, that should be a great offense in. That game is at Ole Miss. Should be really good. Wisconsin at Ohio State. That's a primetime ABC 7:30 game. Oh, baby. Ohio State's going to crush them. Auburn at Alabama. That's a dud. I don't care that it's a rivalry. That's a dud. Notre Dame at USC. Great game. Great matchup, end of the season. Notre Dame, wow, that's a top 10 matchup right there, maybe, if those two teams do what I think they'll do. Oklahoma State at Baylor, that's a dud, I'm sorry. Michigan State at Michigan, this is one of the best rivalries in college football. I mean, seriously, with Mel Tucker going to Michigan State, revitalizing that program after D'Antonio kind of looked like a dead fish. They go with Mel Tucker. These two teams hate each other. I mean, this is almost a better rivalry than Ohio State and Michigan. It's not there, but Michigan State and Michigan hate each other. Ohio State at Penn State. So this is the game that may actually end up starting at noon because big noon kickoff might take it. And Penn State fans are going to be pissed because that's going to mess up their whiteout. It'll be interesting. If Ohio State gets a noon game against Penn State, they dodge a major bullet. You do not want to face them in the whiteout. Clemson at Wake Forest. I like it. You've got Sam Hartman at home against a good Clemson team. Really good non-conference game here. Miami at Texas A&M. Tyler Van Dyke traveling to College Station to face a very young and very talented Texas A&M team. Oh, yeah. That's a week 3 game? Yeah, that'll be good. Baylor at Oklahoma. That's a dud. Florida at Florida State. I guess it's a rivalry, the battle, the Florida teams, whatever. Penn State at Michigan, that's always a good matchup. Miami at Clemson, I like that. I like that matchup a lot. Utah at Florida, this should be like top 12 at least. I mean, this is a game where Anthony Richardson could announce himself as to the college football world week 1. Utah's a top 15 team. Florida's a top 25 team. Great non-conference matchup. You've got Utah traveling to Gainesville. When has that ever happened? This is a top 12 matchup, folks. Give me a break. Florida at Tennessee, Ohio State at Michigan State. The start time of this Ohio State-Michigan State game should be interesting. Arkansas versus A&M. Oh, that's that weird neutral site game, but it's in Texas. That sucks for Arkansas. They do that every year, I think. Florida State versus LSU. I think that's a dud. That's the week 1 Sunday night game on ABC. It always seems like Florida State plays the Sunday night game. The week 1 Sunday, doesn't it? The week 1 Sunday night game, it seems like Florida State always plays it. They played it last year. Mackenzie Melton came out and led something. I kind of remember that. LSU at Florida. Yeah, these are just all standard games. I don't really see anything too crazy. Appalachian State at Coastal Carolina. San Diego State at Utah. That's an interesting non-conference game. Tennessee at LSU. I don't think I've ever seen Tennessee play at LSU. When is the last time that's happened? I don't know. It just feels like that has never happened. Oh, there's a good non-conference game. Tennessee at Pitt, week 2. That'll be a good non-conference game. But these are just games, looking through them. The Dublin, Ireland game, yes. Nebraska versus Northwestern, week 0. Huge. I'm expecting Nebraska to win that one. Nebraska. They actually did rank 100 games. I feel like they just started randomly. How do you gauge BYU at Oregon is better than Miami at Virginia Tech? How do you gauge that? That's why I don't know. San Diego State at Fresno State. That's funny. But overall, I also wanted to show everyone the ESPN FPI rankings, the preseason rankings. So I've talked about this before. But, I mean, we got to do something. They got to update these. I don't know what they got to do. So people always, you're going to talk about Texas being number 6, and that is egregious. That's overrated. I don't care how talented Texas is. You can't put them at number 6. But what about Auburn at number 10? How is Auburn even inside the top 25, let alone 10th? They lost their quarterback, too. It's not even like they return. It's not even like they have continuity. So I have no clue. I think Utah's a little bit underrated at 15. Oklahoma State is really overrated at 13. And then I also thought NC State was underrated at 26. So that's just some overall numbers there. You know what? I do like looking at the efficiencies. Can we see the efficiencies maybe? Oh, they don't even... Wait. Yeah, they're not going to have them because no games have happened. No game. Resume, they're not going to have anything. Let's look at the strength of schedule. Who has the toughest strength of schedule? Auburn. Mississippi State. I was hearing things about Georgia Tech having a brutal schedule this year. Yeah, I was hearing things. How about Rutgers? Oh, man. Indiana. Someone save Indiana out of the Big Ten East. Somebody save them. Someone save Rutgers. Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame has two huge matchups at Ohio State week 1. And then are they at USC, or is that a home game for them? Or they might actually be at Ohio State and at USC. That's rough. So that'll be interesting with, Marcus Freeman, his first year. But guys, just wanted to go through. Look at these. We've got week 0. Vanderbilt debuting their new logo. You guys see their new logo? Vanderbilt, it's right there, but I'm not going to click on it. But and then there's some other games here. Wyoming and Illinois in a random week 0 game. That should be a primetime matchup. Duquesne faces Florida State, an FCS team, really? That's interesting. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.